Hi, this is Sébastien from the Canadian cold primitive black metal band Sorcier Des Glaces, and you're listening to The Bloodshed with the Vampire on Metal Messiah Radio International. And I like to congratulate Metal Messiah Radio for its 13th anniversary.
Sebastien, it's a great pleasure to have you here on The Bloodshed with the Vampire on Metal Messiah Radio.
It's a pleasure for me to talk with you today from Quebec City.
Before we start talking about the band, my question is, you, Sébastien Robitaille and Luc Gaulin, how did you guys know each other and how did you get involved with doing metal music?
Me and Luc are partners in crime since a very long time ago. We were in high school together and Luc was my friend. It's a very long time ago, about 25 or 30 years ago. I knew he was playing drums. He was very fast on the double kick. So I was impressed. And I was 14 years old. I was singing in a metal cover band. We were playing Pantera, Sepultura. We were playing stuff like that. And I used to know Luc about that era. So I started my first band called MOONLYGHT. Maybe you know MOONLYGHT. It's a kind of progressive death metal band. I formed in 1995. And I asked Luc, you want to play with us? So yes, he agreed. MOONLYGHT is more progressive stuff. It's not pure black metal like Sorcier Des Glaces is, if I can call Sorcier Des Glaces black metal. But well, when I get this project in my head, I asked Luc, hey, you want to play some drums on my new project, Sorcier Des Glaces? And he said yes. So he always followed me on many projects. We have another project called Passage. We have 2 album release. It's a doom metal band. So we are playing like many music styles together. We played also in Blind Guardian, a tribute band back in the days. I think it was in 2001 or 2002. Yeah, so we touched many music together. So Luc knows me very well. You know what kind of riffs I'm writing and what kind of drums I want to follow my music. So he's a very talented drummer.
But Sebastien, yes, I'd like to congratulate you and Luc for the release of Sorcier Des Glaces' new album, Mont du Glas et du Sang. That was last October 31st, 2020. How was the emotion because the release of the new album, especially having been released on a very catastrophic year of metal scene, what shows, tours, and festival is about?
You know, Un monde de glace et de sang means a world of ice and blood in English. So it's a very well titled album for this year. It's a very special year, and I worked a lot on this. I'm very satisfied about the result because at first I wasn't satisfied at all. I think my vocal sucks. And I have a lot of adjustment because I have a studio at home and we are working. I think I work something like, I don't know how many hours we work on that, but I wasn't satisfied at first. I'm not, it's like some things. Well, I'm getting old, 41 years old, my vocals, I'm not sure, but yeah, I think we managed to have the best album we released today. I think it has the right atmosphere, the right lyrics. I'm very selfish. I like to have something very specific for Sorcier Des Glaces. So
don't reveal too much as yet, Sebastien. Okay, talking about Sorcier Des Glaces, is a black metal band formed in Quebec, Canada, as a duo. You, Sébastien Robitaille, as we talk, Luc Gaulin. As you said, the word of the band in English means ice wizard. The concept paints a dark universe of vast Asian northern landscape where the last remaining humans are tracked by unholy forces. Sorcier Des Glaces is a somber, misanthropic, and lonely character that haunts and fights that eternal war against mankind. Sebastien, by the time you guys decided to form this black metal project, you and Luc was already busy, as you just start saying, with this band MOONLYGHT, a melodic death black metal band with metal folk influences. Tell us more about this band and the band's last album, which was Return to Desolation back in 2015. What great songs. I must say, I have listened to this album and great songs like the self-titled and Dwelling in Earth Shadows, The Sweet Poison Light, and many more. Are you now working on new materials as well?
MOONLYGHT is still active, and that album, that specific album you're talking about from 2015, Return to Desolation, is something I don't know if I could achieve that again. There's so many tracks on that album and so many hours of work. But you know, when it comes to music, I'm a very open-minded person. I have so many ideas, and that kind of ideas didn't fit with Sorcier Des Glaces. That's why I think I I'm still doing Moonlight. We will release one last album with Moonlight next year. It will be our final album. One song, 50 minutes. The same formula as Sorcier Des Glaces self-titled album from 2018. So it will be cool.
Talking about Sorcier Des Glaces, could you please share with us the reason behind the formation of this, at least in the beginning, a project that you and Luc formed? Are there any future plans to convert this into a full lineup band?
Yeah, we are a duo since the start, me and Luc. And I think it's like a non-written contract. We said, okay, are we going to play live? Okay, no, like Dark Throne, maybe like that. I don't think we will expand the lineup with other people. I'm playing all the instruments. When you have a band, you have many band members. Some members don't have the same thinking as the others. I want a specific sound for Sorcier Des Glaces. And sometimes when you have other band members, they don't like that riff or that song is too long or something like that. So I think it's better like that. Like 23 years this year, I think we exist, and we are not ready to end this. First, we were supposed to do 1 or 2 albums and then end the project, and that's a long adventure since then. I think at least if we change ideas sometimes, I don't know if we're gonna play live, but at the moment, I think me and Luc is a great formula to write songs. At the moment, we complete well each other. So
yes, now we have the COVID, there's no shows, no festivals, nothing happening. But should you guys still, have this desire to play live, you will at least hire some part-time members?
We could do this. My friend Monarch, you know Monarch from Quebec? It's a great black metal band also. Here we have a good black metal scene here in Quebec, but we could hire some guest musicians. But Sorcier Des Glaces is not our day job. We both have day jobs, and it's like a project we are involved with. But like you said, we're not doing gigs, we're not doing festivals, so there's no rush. With the COVID this year, I think there are some bands that were living out of their music that might be difficult right now. So I think we express our artistic views together, and that's correct. If we were going to do some festivals, I think it should be a special visual show for Sorcier Des Glaces. I'm not sure how it will turn out.
Okay. To continue, before I forget, our black metal DJ, Karen Diamond, she want to say hello to you. She loves your new album.
Cool. DJ Karen Diamond. You're very important for the scene, It's very important to have shows like yours.
Okay, to continue with this interview, Sebastien, in 2001, together again with Luc Gaulin and this time with Thierry Nadeau-Cousset, you formed the band Passage. Explain more about this melodic doom metal band, please.
Absolutely. Passage is, I'm so open-minded when it comes to music, so I wanted to do my own doom metal band, so I formed Passage around that time. Thierry was already playing with us with Moonlight, and maybe but he's doing guest vocals on the new Sorcier Des Glaces album on the title track, so he has a great voice. That's very cool. So, yes, we released 2 albums with Passage, but I'm not sure we'll continue that project in the future. I rather concentrate myself on Sorcier Des Glaces rather than Passage, but I'm very proud about the material we released so far, the self-titled album from 2005 called Passage, and we released in 2017, it was As Darkness Comes. Yeah, second album. I wrote third album that I still didn't have time to record, maybe in the future, but I'm not sure. At the moment, we are very, very busy with Sorcier Des Glaces. I concentrate my energy on that for the moment.
Talking about the Sorcier Des Glaces, yes, the band debut album Snowland was recorded back in 1997 and released a year later in 98. A great album with killer tunes like The Winter Nightsky, Onward into Crystal Snows, My Journey into Black Forest, Darkness Covered the Snowland, and many more. But the album never got any distribution deal. I'm talking about Sebastien, a professional release. At the time, it was only available as a Sorcier Des Glaces copy distributed by the band itself back then. And the album was released within 2012 by Mankind's Demise record. How was the first sign of life from this side project being received, and what was the theme all about?
It's a long story. Snowland, we didn't have a label back then. was 1997, I think. We recorded. You know, my friend had a 4-track cassette recorder. I asked him, hey, can I record guitar's riff for my new project, Sorcier Des Glaces? He said, yes, no problems.
Just a minute, I have to go in my backyard, see where is my cassette player.
Yes, I think it's featured. I don't know if you saw the vinyl release of Snowland we released last year on Evil Tentacles record, but we took a picture of that 4-tracks recorder. I think it's still alive. My friend still has at home. Why don't put it on the Snowland reissue?
They're working.
So it's very cool. Record the guitars without any click tracks, doing this all by myself. And then I said to Luke, hey, can you record the drum tracks on it? He said, wow, without any click tracks at all. So it was difficult for him. We were teenagers. I think I was 16 or 17 years old around that time. So without experience, guitar playing the 4 tracks. And Luke didn't have time to finish the drum tracks for that record. So I said, okay, I'm going to do it myself. So I drummed on some song on this, but it's not very, in my opinion, I'm not sure. You know, that's why we re-recorded it in 2012. I think, okay, Snowland needs to maybe not necessarily a better production, but maybe better musicianship on this. Like I said, we were young at the time. I thought it was a great idea to record it again. So that's why there is 2 versions of that album.
I can imagine being 17 years, so young and already doing the recordings and everything. And listen to this first album, and you guys have done great music, I must say.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think we managed to get the right atmosphere, and it's like you feel the raw energy on that record. That's okay. I think on that album there's some of the best riffs I ever wrote, I ever composed, and that's okay. People like Snowland. Some people told me, it's the best Sorcier Des Glaces album. You know how it is when you go back to your first release. I'm not sure that, it's really, it's not on time. It's very badly recorded, but that's important, the development in our music. So,
but Sebastien, recording is one thing, but the music, the riffs are very good.
Yes, that's it. You know, and you got the point. I think the riffs I composed for the last song on this, it's called The Night Throne. I think it's one of the best riffs I ever wrote, even today. So that's fine with it. I'm fine with the 2 versions. When people said, hey, it's the best Sorcier Des Glaces album, I said, okay, that's fine. But sometimes you do things with the 4 tracks. Not a lot of options. You didn't hear the bass, I think, on the album, but that's cool. I'm fine with it.
You know, with all due respect, it's a great album, I say, but I don't want to say it's the best album, because it's like saying that in the last years with all the rest of the 7 albums after that, you haven't progressed then.
Yes, so since that, we've grown up. But and even our second album, Moonrise in Total Darkness, we recorded the year after Snowland, or 2 years later. I think it's 1990, I'm not sure, but we were more prepared for that.
Okay, but yes, talking about that, I have it in 1999, was it, that you guys entered the studio to record the second Onward called Moonrise in Total Darkness at that time, but 2 members forming the Unholy duo were playing in a progressive dark metal band, MOONLYGHT. So you guys give priority to MOONLYGHT. This recorder was put aside. The album was first released back then in December 2006 via the Canadians Mankind's of Demise record. Again, another album with great tunes, distant fog floats in the grim night forest, dense Nordic vibes fall upon my realm with grandiose obscurity. Behold the halls of ice, to say some. Many reason has kept this album in the dark. I mean, come on, Sebastien, for 7 years since its recording. Please, Sebastien, tell us why and explain us over the reissue of this album in 2016 via the Canadians of Galley Records.
Yeah, it's a strange period. Around to 1999, I think we recorded it. It was a strange period because at the time we were recording the first MOONLYGHT album. MOONLYGHT was considered by me the main band, and Sorcier Des Glaces was some kind of small side project. I didn't put enough time on it around that time. So we were to enter the studio with MOONLYGHT, and things were not so great with Luke, so we fired Luke from MOONLYGHT at around that time. So we just recorded the Moonrise in Total Darkness album, I think in the summer. Things were bad a bit later, so...
Sebastien, once again, you said you fired Luke from Moonlight?
Yeah.
And you guys still friends?
Yeah. Yeah. Around that time, there was some problems in the band. You know, when you're 5 band members, you know how it is. There's some problems around that time. So, yeah, we fired Luc. I remember going to a restaurant with him, telling, okay, look, it's over with Moonlight. And he was very much into that. He was mad at me a bit, but we remained friends, so no problems at all. So around that time, it's a strange period. As I said, now my friend Galley Records, who is releasing some of our stuff since 5 years now, he asked me, I think it was 2001, 2002, around that time, he said, hey, I want to release Moonrise in Total Darkness. So it was a project we had together, and finally he said, okay, I have too much stuff to release on my label, so I'm sorry, I can't do this. So I said, okay. So the album wasn't released until 2006, and then my friend Remy from Mankind's Demise, who also runs new label, the vinyl label in Quebec called Evil Tentacles Records now, he said, okay, I really want to release that album. I think it's worth it. So we worked that together, and it gave me a lot of inspiration to write new stuff after that. So that's why I came back with the Pure Essence of Primitive Forest some years later. But it was a strange period. Luc came back in Moonlight as a keyboardist, like in 2004, I think, something like that. And after that, we fired the actual drummer of Moonlight, and we asked Luc if he wanted to come back in Moonlight. So that's a really very, very strange story. But
but don't you still know that 7 years has been too long to keep this recording in the darkness?
I think it was. I always thought that album deserved to be released, but I didn't know how. I didn't know any other labels. I didn't search at all. I don't remember searching actively for labels around that time. So I think, okay, one day it will be released. And, you know, I thought at this time that Sorcier Des Glaces was still a very small project. So there's no rush to release it. That's why the album was in my desk. It was there. It was, okay, that's a cool album. But like you said, 7 years later, got a call from Remy from Mankind's Demise. Said, okay, I want to release it. So, okay. Let's do it. And after that, we were very active since the time we released all our albums since 2011. So
following the years, the band has released very great full-length albums and EPs like The Percent of Primitive Forest that was in 2011, Monuments, Ancients in 2012, Ritual of the Ant in 2014, North in 2016. Yes, along with great tunes, The Say Some, That Black Silence.
The Black Silence, yeah.
Ailey Zangs Perir Zu La Neige.
Yeah, Angels Perish Under the Snow.
Trevir de Neige Eternel.
Yeah.
And yes, Hunger of the Freezing Fog, Morbid Ritual, The Sign of the Ant, The Frozen Sword of Midnight, Snow-Crowned Mountains, North Rites of the Black Moon. I mean, just to say a couple of, as you just said, albums are coming, albums are going, but many great songs has been released throughout the years. If you look back from the band's formation up 2016 up to the album North, what have all these albums and songs meant in the career of the band for you guys?
This is very important stuff for me. I think in 2010, when I wrote the Pure Essence of Primitive Forest, I knew that it was not the end of Sorcier Des Glaces. I knew I had a lot of inspiration, and I've got my home studio around that time. I think it was 2009 or 2010. I've got my home studio, and I think that's why I think, it's ready. It's easy to record songs, and so it was easy for me to work song in my studio. So got a lot of inspiration. I think I wrote The North and The Ritual of the End and Snowland 2012. I think I wrote all those songs in some months, like 4 or 5 months, and I've got all 3 albums. So I said to myself, okay, I've got so many songs and I have to release many albums now. And I've got old stuff that I put on the Monuments Anciens, Ancient Monuments, or English translation. So that's old stuff that I think I recorded myself in the beginning of 2001, I think, something like that. So that's very old songs, and that's okay. I've got offered, do you have some spare songs to release on an EP? So I said yes. There's very old song. That's not the best. That's okay, but we never released the Monuments Anciens on CD. Maybe that's a project someday, so it would be nice.
Okay.
But that's an important period for me because I think I was back on track with Sorcier Des Glaces. I had a lot of inspiration. I was happy with that. So I put all my energy. Moonlight was over. The band was over, or on ice, or on hiatus. So I put all my energy on Sorcier Des Glaces for that. So
moving forward, Sebastien, in 2018 sees the release of the band's seventh full-length Onward, a very monolithic album consisting of a unique 50-minute self-titled song, Sorcier Des Glaces. The album showed a very atmospheric side of the band, yet telling the story of the religious spirit of Sorcier Des Glaces, called primitive metal, an epic journey so well balanced and filled with diversity from calm to torment. You will find everything a Canadian winter can provide in the atmosphere of this song, so dark and so beautiful. Sebastien, why have you decided on this long epic atmospheric journey of 50 minutes and 60-second long single?
It was not intended to be a new Sorcier Des Glaces album around that time. Like I said, I was planning one final Moonlight album around that time. After we released the Return to Desolation album from Moonlight in 2015, I thought about the new Moonlight album around that time. I said, okay, let's do a one-song album, like a one big song, like something like, Crimson from Edge of Sanity, excellent album, something like a movie soundtrack, something very special. So I thought about this and I started writing this. So, and then I said, why can't I do this with Sorcier Des Glaces instead? That's the way I'm writing riffs. So I heard some riffs in my head. So I said, okay, I'm going to take my guitars, play some electric guitar, some riffs, record some riffs. And then it started to flow. So I had a lot of ideas to compose this. It was a kind of challenge for me because I never wrote a song that long. And I said to myself, I don't want to write a long song, but it's annoying. I wanted some parts, like you said, some thrash metal parts in this and more atmospheric stuff. I'm listening to a lot of shoegaze stuff, this kind of atmospheric stuff. I like that very much. And I said, okay, we'll compose a brand new Sorcier Des Glaces album that will be a self-titled album. And then that's the way I did it. So I recorded it by parts because it's a very long album. I'm very, very happy about that. But I'm not sure every fan of the bands like that album. I knew that it will not please to everyone because, when you're listening to the album, one long song, it's not the same as you're listening to many songs and you have different atmospheres. So I thought it's a special album. In my opinion, you have to listen to alone at home. You light a candle, take a good beer or a good glass of wine and relax.
I just interviewed a couple weeks ago a doom metal band from Italy under the name Shores of Null, and they have released their new album. I think even over an hour. I can't remember right now the length of the CD, but it's just one single. As you said, but done still in part, where you get the different vibes, different elements going along the way.
Yeah, it's such a challenge to compose a one long song like this. You can't repeat the same riff 5 minutes, you know what I mean? So you have to entertain. But I think I'm very, very happy about the result. That's why we returned after that. Some people asked me, okay, it's the new album again, the one long song. I said, no, not this time. Okay, we did it. That's okay. But I did it, so I am very happy about that.
Going back to what you just said about shoegaze, yes, I play a lot of shoegaze, blues metal. Even I had on my top 30 of 2019, I had Alsace as my best album of the year. Alsace.
I know the band. Yeah, very, very good. That music style is from the 90s. I very like some bands from the UK, like, I don't know if you know that, but bands like Slowdive or My Bloody Valentine, Ride. There's some bands that's more rock oriented, but you have the kind of atmosphere you can find in some Sorcier Des Glaces songs. We don't use keyboards in our songs, but we are using so much layers of lead guitars in the background. So I think that's why there is some parallels with shoegaze with that. So I like very much that style of music.
To continue with this interview, I mean, yes, the band have worked with great labels in the past for previous releases like Mankind's Demise record, Les Productions Hérétiques.
That's MOONLYGHT label.
But this time, the band's 8th studio album, Onward de Glace et du Son, was released October 31st, 2020 on a Halloween day via Obscure Appearance Productions. So that you started working with Obscure Appearance Production back in 2016 for the release of the album North. Was the 2018 self-titled Sorcier Des Glaces also released via them?
We released stuff via Obscure Appearance since the split album with MOONLYGHT we did back in 2012. Sorcier Des Glaces and MOONLYGHT. So I've got introduced Andy, great guy from Obscure Appearance, and since that time we released Ritual of the End, Nord, the Sorcier Des Glaces album, Armand de Glace et de Sang, our latest album. With him, he believed in Sorcier Des Glaces. He liked our stuff, and that's cool. I really like working with people who are working professionally. I'm working also with Miguel from Dread Records in the USA. I think it's Wisconsin. It's a great guy and really professional release. We released all our cassette version on his label, so that's cool people to work with. But Mankind's Demise closed its door, I think it was in 2000. After we released Snowland 2012, it closed its door at the moment. But we are working with great people. Andy is a great guy. He does release nice stuff. Nice vinyls, vinyl release. We are very happy with him, so we continue on that label at the moment.
Is it a coincidence that the album has been released just on Halloween Day?
I think it was. My friend told me, hey, there's no albums released on Saturdays. I said, okay, I didn't know. So I did, okay, yeah, I wanted to release it on Halloween. I don't know. I decided this some time ago, and the label was fine with this. So that's a cool date to release a black metal album.
Yeah, sure. Okay, how are the promotion and the distribution going so far for this great new album?
Coronavirus has some complication with the release. We still didn't receive our CDs yet. So you can imagine the label just sent us received the CDs from the press plant. I think it's like 1 or 2 weeks ago. And they said, okay, there's some problem with the Digipack release, but COVID made some problems with all this. So the promotion is great. The reviews are absolutely great. I'm very, very happy about that, because when you work your stuff, your music from A to Z, because we do it all ourselves. We do our layout, we do recording, the mixing, the mastering. So, you can imagine it's so many hours of work, but I'm fully satisfied with the album. So the reviews are great. I'm very happy about that, but I'm making music first for myself, and I'm very happy if people follow me in my darkest trip. I'm very happy about that. So
that's very great to hear. Sebastien, yes, you have always had a cover song to all the previous album. I mean, to go back, I remember you guys have done a Mayhem cover, The Freezing Moon. You have done a Samuel, a Macabre Operetta. You also have done a Pain, Enslavement, Witchcraft, Tormentor 1. And this time, it's not an exception on a new album that you guys have chosen the Warlock as a regional song of this great Greek band Necromantia. And the guest vocals on this album also on piano, I see performing Thierry Nadeau-Cassette. Yes, any special reason for have chosen the Warlock from Necromantia as the cover song for this new album?
That's favorite songs I like since a long time. I discovered Necromantia when they released their fabulous Crossing the Fury Path album. I was amazed because there were no rhythm guitars, there were only bass guitars replacing rhythm guitars. I thought it sounded weird at first, but I've got introduced in Greek black metal with Necromantia, Rotting Cries, Varatron. I thought, okay, Necromantia, I like so much their debut album, I should do a cover song with Sorcier Des Glaces. Like you said, we already covered Mayhem. Mayhem, it's no surprise, it's a big influence on my songwriting. So the Mysteries Dom Satanas album is among my favorites. And the Dark Throne cover, and I'm a very big fan of Pain Enslavement band from Norway. They are not, they are split up now, but they did so great material back in the late 90s. So I thought, okay, and I asked the lead singer from Necromantia, Magnus Vampire Daolot, I asked him if he wanted to do some guest vocals on the cover. We did, and he said yes, okay. And then the COVID situation came in March, and he said, okay, I don't have time, I'm sorry. So I was a bit disappointed.
Yeah,
it would have been great to have him on the album. But,
how about your work, and how did you get Thierry on board?
Yeah, Thierry, I know him since a very long time. He's a friend of mine since 25 years now. He's a great keyboard player, piano player. And if you listen to the first MOONLYGHT album, it's called Progressive Darkness. We released that, I think it's 2001 or 2002. He did some absolutely killer vocals on that album, killer back vocals on that album. So I said, okay, I want someone. I asked my friend Monarch to do some vocals on the older albums. And then I said, Thierry, you have a great voice, man. You want to sing on the new Sorcier Des Glaces album? He said, okay, I can try. He got to my home some months ago, and he did a fantastic job. I like his vocals. It's absolutely scream. It's painful. It's evil at the same time. I really like his voice, so I think it's a very good fit for the title track on our new album.
Sébastien, Onward de Glace et do song, an album with 8 tracks. Yes, a total playing time of 1 hour, 2 minutes and 17 seconds. Is there anything you want to describe of this album?
No, but I think it's a problem when you want to do a vinyl version, because it's more than 1 hour. You don't think about this. When we recorded the album, I said to the label, okay, is that the problem when the album is like more than 1 hour? He said, okay, I'm not sure, I will check. I could say that we recorded more songs from those sessions we did, but I will not reveal anything today.
I might be wrong, Sebastien, but I believe that, if I'm not wrong, I've seen a lyric video for Nike Dark Winds of Evil. Have you done more videos for any other songs on this album?
Not at the moment, but probably in the future, yes. We will do another video. It was for promotion for the new album, but we didn't do for another song on the album. All things went very, very fast after the release of the album. So not at the moment, but yes, probably in the coming months.
Okay, Onward Glace do song was recorded in the first half of 2020, recorded, mix and master at Hell Studio, Donnacona, Quebec, by you, Sebastien. How have the recordings, mix and master been this time with this great new album?
Yes, it's good. Like I said, I worked on it many hours. It might be some 100 of hours. And I listened to the album maybe 300 times. You know, when you mix music and stuff like that, I wanted to be 100% satisfied. And I've always the same formula to mix things. Look at me, gathered, record drums, and after I'm working on the guitars and everything at home. So I have a home studio since, like I said, 2010 now. I'm mixing. I'm doing some other production too. Some Philadelphia bands called Paul Misses, that's very killer stuff. And I'm working on some Quebec bands too. So that's very nice. I'm very happy. I take experience with this, and it helps me a lot with Sorcier Des Glaces to be at home working for that.
But if we go back, to North, the last album, I mean, not to talk about the long single you have released back in 2018, but go back to this 8-track album, North, that you have released back in 2016, compared to the recording and everything related to this, the mix and master from this album compared to the new one. What have you guys done differently?
I think maybe it was the way we recorded it, but I've always recorded the guitars at home. On this particular album, I use maybe some other drum sounds, drum samples from Luc, work something different, but it's not that different from the way we work now. Like I said, I wrote the North album, the Ritual of the End album, and the Snowland re-recording. I've recorded the guitars all at the same time. It was recorded in a short period of time, and then after it was Luc's job to do the drums on all those songs after that. But North, yeah, the title track is an old Moonlight song from 1995. So I think I still have some demos of that song played with Moonlight. It's an old Moonlight song that I reworked for Sorcier Des Glaces. So the same, the Ritual of the End album, it was an old song. The first song on that album is called Under the Moonlight. It's an old Moonlight song. So from my old band, I decided to rework with the Sorcier Des Glaces song. So that's fine. Yeah.
To go into the end of this interview almost, Sebastien, I want to thank you very much for have made this interview possible, and I want to hand you over the microphone of Metal Messiah Radio for you to invite all your friends, all your fans to support the band, to buy the band's previous album, and to buy the band's brand new album, this great new Sorcier Des Glaces song. After this interview, I will be speaking French.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure you're very good. You're very good. Your pronunciation is very, very good.
I've been the whole day pronouncing these words, and I cannot still do them right, but it's okay. At least you understand.
Yes.
Okay. This great album was released October 31st, 2020, on this Halloween day via Obscure Apparent's production. I still have a question. How are the reaction from fans, towards this great new release? You just said the CD has not been released yet, but how are the pre-orders sales going, the digital album sales going, Sebastien?
The reviews so far are great for that album. Like I said, I'm very, very happy about it, about the result, about the sound. I use my old PV amplifier for the guitars on that one, so that's an old amplifier I bought in, I think, 1995. That's very, very cool. And I didn't forget the bass on that album, so that bass is very audible. So that's very nice. And people send me a lot of messages. Great reviews so far. So I'm very, very happy about that.
Since the album has not been released as yet physical, but in how many formats will this be available then?
It's released actually, but people can buy it via our label in Germany. But I think physically it's available, but it's not available for North American people. But it will be in 1 week or two. Everything will be available from our Bandcamp page.
How about formats?
Yeah, you have digipack version, limited digipack version, CD version, and we will do the vinyl version next year. So at the beginning of the new year, I think it's already at the pressing plant. The vinyl version and the cassette version. Yeah, there's a cassette version, limited version from Dread Records, already available via their website. So
how about colors? Talking about vinyls.
Yeah, it's at the pressing plant at the moment. So
yeah, but my question is, how about the colors? In what colors are you releasing them?
Sorry, vinyls. I'm not very. I don't know much about this. No. I really don't know. At the moment, it's black, but I didn't ask Andy what was his plan for this. I'm sorry, I didn't understand your question at first.
No problem.
Yeah, I know. I think it's black, but we'll probably do a kind of, the last album had the blue version and the North had the
That was a very beautiful one, Sebastien.
Yeah. Maybe something like splatter, the red will be nice. I'm not sure, but I will ask Andy for that.
Okay, talking about red, before you leave, please explain us just a little bit about the artwork and that cathedral in the woods there, in the darkness there. Who did it?
I did it myself. Yeah, I'm very, very happy about that. I'm working a lot with textures, and I wanted a castle on the cover album. Like I said, one of my all-time favorites album is Mayhem, the Mysterism Satanas, and they got a big cathedral on the cover. So I said, okay, now this time it's enough for the frozen forest with the snowy trees. Okay, we had it on so many album covers, but this time I think it should be something more dark, something like more fantasy cover. It ended up like that, so I'm very happy about that.
Very great.
You like it?
Yes.
Yeah, artwork is very, very important to go along with the music. That's it. The cover from the Snowland album. It's an old picture I took myself back in 1994. It's an old picture I took. I think there was a forest not far from my parents at the time. Now there's a big shopping mall. There's absolutely awful, okay. But there was beautiful forest back then. And it's very important. On the North cover, the same thing. I took that picture myself in 1995. It's very important. And my girlfriend is doing painting, so she painted the cover for the Pure Essence of Primitive album. So we all do it ourselves when it comes to album cover. And for the latest album, I thought about something that will fit the music. And I think we managed managed to get something, like you said, fitting with the vibe of the music, kind of dark, cold, and it's like a world of shadows. It's very fitting, and I'm very happy about that, to have it designed.
It fits your music and it fits my show because it's all about darkness and dwelling in the deepest eternity.
It's the world of Sorcier Des Glaces, an apocalyptic world or something very dark. Yes, it fits the Sorcier Des Glaces character.
Okay, Sebastien, before we leave, I once again gonna hand you over the microphone of Madam Messiah Radio for you to thank whoever you wanna thank.
Yes, I thank all people who get involved with Sorcier Des Glaces, being the MD from Obscure Brands who believes in us in a long time now. I want to thank all our fans worldwide. You are very important for us. When you're doing all the work, like our new album, I worked so hard on it, and the comments are so great. I'm very, very pleased, and you're very important for the scene. Continue to support your band, support the underground. It's very, very important for us. Thank you very much to Metal Messiah Radio. It's very, very happy for me to do an interview with you today, and you are very important. Thank you so much.
How you say the vampire in French?
Yeah, vampire.
Vampire.
Vampire. DJ Vampire.
Vampire au Quebec.
Yes, Vampire du Québec. Yes.
Quebec.
Yeah. I will say maybe some last word, if you allow me. We will announce something soon. Stay tuned. Like I said, we recorded a lot of songs from the last album that were not on the last album because one album that clocks 1 hour. So maybe we'll have something new in the near future. So stay tuned.
Madam Messiah Radio, my show, The Bloodshed, is here, ready for any news you want to premiere. You're more than welcome.
Yeah, we'll contact you. Yes.
Okay. I wish you all the best, Sebastien. Say hello to Luke for me as well. I hope to see you guys sometimes, to meet you guys live. Wish you all the best with this great new album, MOONLYGHT Glass, du son. And I wish you all the best with the band. I wish you all the best for you, for your loved ones. Be safe, be good, and like I always say, metal on. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.